Well, stop yelling, Drew. Good morning. How's everybody this morning?
Good morning.
Oh, good.
Is it Friday?
Just us.
Friday.
What a
I don't
weird
know.
week.
I just figured I'd
Yeah.
start and we'll see who joins us. I don't know.
It is an off week. That's already Friday. It feels like it's Saturday. But
No, it doesn't.
Feels like it's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Sorry. Yeah, it does not feel like it's Friday. It feels like it's like it's a Tuesday or something. I don't know.
I feel like we've just been going and going and going.
Yeah, kind of nonstop,
Yep.
which feels that way. I don't know. I had a dream last night. I don't remember what it was, but I woke up with like all these emotions. Do you ever do that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not sure what I dreamt about, but I'm feeling like a lot of stuff. And that was just really weird. Like, I'm like, all right, nothing happened. Like, I don't remember a thing, but I don't know.
I had a weird night too. I woke up and I was missing my Whoop strap. Never had, ever since I bought it, over almost a year ago now, I've never had an issue with it coming off or anything. Woke up this morning and I was like, I don't know if I just got tired of it and threw it off or whatever it was, but it was hidden in the base, like underneath my feet in the bed.
Dang.
So I have no idea what the hell happened.
You sleep like me. Julie walked in my room in Montrose and she goes, was there a struggle? And I was like, no, that's just how I sleep. That's how my bed looks. And she's like, Sarah. I was like, yeah, I know. It is terrible. But yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why you wake up and you still, I mean, I get it because if it's really vivid or real, but I was just like, oh, I got to process all these emotions. I had no idea. Like they're not related to anything. And I don't know.
Did you journal about it?
Yeah, there you go.
Not yet. That's not till Monday. Don't push me, D. That's
When
not
did you guys start? Yeah, when did you decide to start journaling? I must have missed that conversation.
When did we do that?
I can't remember. Was it January or was it more like February?
I don't think it was January. It wasn't that
Way
long.
back.
Yeah. Maybe March.
I was going to say probably even more like March or April. Maybe March.
It's
But
funny when you guys said that yesterday. I actually bought this. I may have it somewhere. It's a 5-minute journal you're supposed to do every day. I did it like one day.
does it guide you?
Hang on, let me find it.
Okay, because ours was just mine. I shouldn't say ours. Mine's just a blank notebook.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have a lot to say, and other times I was like, so.
I do have a kind of cool one I've had forever. It's a 5-year journal, and it's just a little Q&A, so it prompts you every year on that day. Like, some of it's really dumb, like, what did you have for dinner? And then some of it's like, what's your simplest pleasure? And I'm like, I don't know, naps.
Oh my gosh. Every time you guys make me laugh, I sound like I'm going to die. Yeah, maybe I need a prompting journal, or I need to come up with like something, because I do. I feel like there's tons of stuff like I can just go on and I don't think about. And other times it's just to even find like 2 things to write down. I'm like,
Yeah.
Like I was thinking about it this morning. I always write in my journal at night. I'm not a morning journaler. Look, Drew, it's so impactful to Drew. He even knows where it is.
No, I mean this is the harder journal I have. This one actually my friend wrote, and this one is guided, and he it's about like developing yourself and leadership, and this one is hard. This one really asks you, like, let me see. I did this one a little further. I don't want him to watch the podcast because he'll probably rip me a new one because we didn't do this.
You didn't even know where it was?
No, this one I knew where it was. This is not the 5-minute journal. This one is actually
journal you can't find.
Yeah, that one, the 5-minute journal one, like you get in there and it just basically is built on you only need 5 minutes and you journal off some topics and you put it away for the day or whatever. This one's a guided journal, and this one is like it takes you through chapters of your life basically, and then pushes you as leadership characteristics, all kinds of stuff, individual stuff, and it's hard. There's a lot of hard questions in this one, so that's why I'm not as far along as I should be.
But when it got hard, you just put it down.
No, I did. It's time consuming, so I think that's my excuse, which I can't make that up. I shouldn't make that as an excuse, but it is some deep thought. It's not like just 5 minutes I can say, hey, what's my goal for today? Did you accomplish it? No, this is very in depth and putting yourself on a these aren't easy ones, but like how you evaluate yourself, how do others evaluate yourself, these are just leadership stuff. And then,
That sounds like our book study more than.
yeah, so this one's pretty
Yeah.
in depth, which I like it. I need to commit to it.
Well, and I don't know. I mean, you guys, but I think if I journal at night, I'm probably a little more like authentic. If I journal in the morning, I'm more happy in the morning.
Yeah.
Not that I'm like sad at night. I don't mean it that way, but like, you're a little more raw and worn out. So I think what I journal at night tends to be different than like during the day. If I journal during the day, or in the morning, I feel like it's more like today I was like, this is so stupid, but I went to the bathroom and I like flipped the seat down and I have those soft close seats on your toilet. You know what I mean? That
Also, don't slam. Yeah.
yeah, so it
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
slam. And I was like, I am so grateful for whoever designed that. And then I like went on like a 3-minute thought process of like, I wonder if it was a man or a woman. I wonder if like, is that like a dad thing? Like, Drew, and like, I wasted all that water in the pool and don't turn up the heat. Or was it like, a guy was like, quit slamming the toilet? Or was like a mom like, I've had it. I wish someone would invent something that made it just not slam.
Had to be a kid thing. Had to be a parent. One of the two. It was just like, I'm tired of hearing that thing slam. So.
Right. Well, and now the worst part is if I go to someone's house and they don't have it, and because I like go like that to get it started, it was just horrible. And then I go to someone's house and I go like, and it like,
Boom.
bam, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I wasn't angry in the bathroom. I was just trying to close the toilet. But because I can't leave it up. I think I don't know. I have to close it and then flush it because I feel like if it's open and
Germs. Yeah.
I don't want to do that. So I want to close it and then. But whoever invented that, thank you. If I was going to journal this morning, that's what I would have journaled about, is my gratitude for that. But I don't know.
Your daily affirmation. Thank you for the slow closed toilet.
That's right. That's right. Well, I spend my mornings are gratitude time, and I find it easier because I am more in like a better mood in the morning than I am like in the evening. Not better mood. I don't know what maybe I have more resources in the morning.
Yeah. You're fresh.
Or a different outlook. Which brings us to our topic of self-discipline, because I think I am so disciplined much more in the morning than I am as the day goes on. Are you guys the same or no?
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know that I lose it. I think it's more time commitment stuff going on. Like early in I think I can control it better in the morning. That makes sense.
That's what I'm saying. Like if someone
my time.
put that in right now, I'd be like, nah, I'm fine. But if you bring ice cream in and it's like 7:00 at night, that discipline just like, I feel like I'm really strong and then it just goes like that all day.
You don't want 7 a.m. ice cream? You don't want that?
Oh, I'd eat it, but I'm a little bit easier to go, no, not right now. Or no, I don't need any. But yeah, 7:00 and I'm in my PJs on the couch. That's a little harder to just say no to. I don't know.
So what you're saying, when you get fatigued, you're easier to break.
I think everyone is, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Isn't that like
So-
prison camps and
You have
stuff?
to work harder.
Yeah.
didn't we talk about that in one of our book studies actually? Because we were raised or taught that willpower is like infinite, and
It's
really
just a choice.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It's actually
Not.
finite.
Yeah.
And so you only have, it's like a bank account. You only have so much. So you have to think about when you use it. And so that's why a lot of times, like when they talk about, meal prep and things like that, it's not because you can't do your meal prep as you go. It's because that's one more thing that if it's just there and ready, you don't have to try to choose between things. You just know you go in and grab it.
Yeah.
Same thing like with getting up and working out in the morning for a lot of people, because as the day goes on and you're more tired, you're more likely to go, nah, do I really want to do that versus, I'll just get up in the morning and before I even have, the desire to kind of go, I'm just too tired. I'll do it in the morning or I'll do it tomorrow or whatever. Most I'll do it tomorrows happen later in the day, not in the morning.
Yeah. Which I think is funny because I get up, I do mine first thing in the morning. And to me, it seems easier that way. But people think it's like, oh my God, you're getting up early. It's harder. And for me, I've just found, to your point, like if I don't do it then when it's my time, then it's infinitely harder later because something happens or some schedule thing happens or kids happen or life happens. Where in the morning, they're all in bed. Well, they're all in bed. They're all sleeping, right? So I have my own choice of getting up, and I have my own time, and so I have that window to myself.
Well, mine is I happen. I make the excuse. Because if it was
Right.
really a commitment, I mean, I would do it and it wouldn't be an issue
Yeah.
regardless of anything. But that's why, like, when Becky says she goes at night, I'm like, okay, well, if that works for you, that is fantastic. But that would not be like after a day of work. Hey, I'm going to go to the, oh, dear heavens, no.
The only time I worked at night or worked out at night was when I was working at night. So it was my morning still. So I got up and my
Yeah.
morning, then I went in and worked overnights. But there were some guys and gals that would get off after either shift at 6:30 in the morning and go right to the gym after working all night and then go to the gym. And it was just, that seemed crazy to me because overnights are hard enough as it is, let alone adding a workout to the end of it. But
I work nights.
whatever works for you, you know?
Yeah, you do have a little bit of, when I was working nights, you have that little bit of the letdown that has to happen before you go to sleep because people are like, well, if you get at 8, you're asleep by 8:30.
Mm-mm.
No, if you get off work at 4:30 or 5, you're not asleep by 6. Like,
Mhm.
it doesn't work that way. You need a little time to unwind and then go to sleep. And then people think you get up for work and you have all this time. It's like, no, I get up and I shower and I go to work.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a weird, I don't think we're meant to work nights. I know we
No.
have to in certain professions, but our bodies are not designed for that.
100% no.
Which is another thing. I think that self-discipline thing, Dee, to your point in that book study we did, it's setting yourself up as much for success as you can. So I
Right.
think it is that if you have lack of sleep, right, you're going to be more likely to just, like, I think, again, fatigue, Drew, to your point, you just, like, when you're tired, you're like, I don't know, for me, I make bad decisions when I'm tired.
Yeah, excuses, I think, for me.
Yeah.
Not like I'm going to kill someone, bad decisions, like, oh, I'm all murdery. But I mean, there's like, I'm like, yeah, I'm tired, or, I don't know. I just feel like you just don't push yourself the same way as when you're refreshed and you have that full set of
Oh,
energy.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. But do you guys think I mean, do you believe, Dee, that that's true, what they said in the book, that it isn't infinite, it is finite, and that you are gonna, like, literally, that the rest you get overnight is what refuels all that? Because if you think about it, like, all your chemicals, during your sleep, right? Your body's producing all of those hormones and those chemicals again. And so, you start fresh in the morning. For me anyway, I don't know. I don't care how bad the night was or my mood or anything. In the morning, everything is always better in the morning.
Yeah. No, I do believe that, but it was hard to wrap my head around it just because I was always taught that you just don't have willpower. Like, you're just not trying hard enough. Yeah. So it was like a me problem. And
Me problem.
to realize, like, there are certain things I can do to set myself up, but really there are a lot of external factors that go into that and pressure, and you do have to just kind of be aware of that.
Yeah, tons. I think you can learn discipline a little bit, right? Because I think, again, some of it is, well, I don't know. Because I think there's a difference between your willpower and discipline. Those are two different things, right?
Yeah.
To me, they are. Willpower is different than discipline. Discipline is a choice. Willpower, I think sometimes you just run out.
Well, discipline carries you through the hard and the not wanting to, because you're making a choice to stick to it. I think that was the biggest thing for me, was learning the difference between discipline, motivation, like you said, willpower, whatever you want to call it. You have to be disciplined to keep getting up, or keep staying at a task, or not to eat the ice cream, or not to, whatever it is. You just have to, it's the choice you have to stick to, not how it feels and how, is it good or bad, or what, you just got to do it. And that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Take like meal prep. Like if you do it every Sunday, right, or you get prepared for the week, but then you forget that Sunday, how hard is it to get back in the mood Monday? Because I got work, I got to cook, I got to do. So you have that, or to your point, ice cream at night. That's a choice that you have to have discipline to fight the craving for, right? Replace it with something different.
Yeah.
I don't think it's willpower. Willpower, I think, is in the moment.
Huh. I don't know. Dee, what do you think?
For me.
I'm kind of trying to relearn all of that, actually. Well, have you started this yet?
No, it's sitting it's literally sitting next to the couch. And I look at it every single day because we have even the study guide.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I just did a quick read through, but maybe for your 60 days, if you want to start it together
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the workbook, I'd be down for that. But yeah, building
What
those good
he's
habits.
talking about, Drew, is we bought the Atomic Habit,
Yeah.
and I read The Power of Habit, that book. I did not enjoy it,
Yeah.
to be honest. One of my trainers got me to read it, and it's a lot of sports analogies. And I just like I mean, honestly, I'm like, dear God, can we talk about something other than a coach and sports analogies? Like, I'm so over it by the time I understand the concept, and I get the correlation with sports and everything. But it was almost like, to me, after a while, did you read that one, Dee? That was what I put in our book study for our company, because it really does have good traits in there. Like, I mean, it sounds really dumb, but it was talking about like even toothpaste. Do you remember that? And all of that stuff.
I don't know if I remember that book.
It was talking about how we get in the habit of brushing our teeth in the morning, and that was like the whole thing just around habits. Because so self-discipline is one thing, right? Willpower is another, and then creating habits is another step. And what do they say? It takes 45 days to create a habit.
There's several different, I think,
I think bull
Yeah.
crap.
45 to 60 or whatever they say.
I don't even think 60 is enough for me. I think I need like 7 years to develop a different habit, but I don't know. Because I slide back into my old behaviors really easy.
Yeah, I think. Well, I think the same with this book. There are some things where you're like, "Oh my God, I already know this. Like, just shut up. I don't need to hear about the NBA. I know." But there are some good like nuggets where you're like, "Oh, I didn't think of it that way. This is why I failed before. Maybe I'll try it this time." Yeah.
Okay, that's funny because you said NBA and then you said Nuggets, and I'm like, they're talking about the Nuggets in there?
No, little gems, little nuggets
gems,
of
little nuggets,
information.
if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to write a book that is about that has nothing to do with sports analogies ever. Like, there's going to be shoes in there and shopping analogies and all kinds of stuff, and no sports analogies. Not one in that book. Well, but I think too, so I think that's a great point, Drew, that you made. So willpower, discipline helps you get through when your willpower is low, but creating those habits makes you not have to use the discipline or the willpower as much because they're a habit.
I would say it helps you rely on discipline. Discipline keeps you consistent. So
But
creating that
habit, I would think your habit would keep you more consistent than discipline would, because discipline is still a choice. A habit is subconscious.
Yeah, you don't have to think about it.
So, like, if I actually had a habit of drinking water like I do with coffee, I would not need to use discipline to force myself to drink water or willpower. Does that make sense? Like, I think the more habits that you create, the easier it is on your psyche to not have to work so hard.
But I agree. I think there's a couple things there for me. I think if take the outside person and it's like, oh wow, you drink a gallon of water every day. To you, it might be just it's a habit, but you've developed discipline to stick to that habit and that creation that holds you through that. I think the difference, like in willpower, is fleeting and motivation is fleeting. Like it's not, you can't rely on it. It's moment in time and it's feeling. Where, to your point, creating that habit is through discipline, which then just makes it a daily factor.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so, I just, there's a lot to it. I think you got to stay focused on it. For me, it was easier when I heard it put that way. It was like, because I think discipline, you think carries a negative connotation most times, right? People are like, it's actually very positive too. And so I think in that manner, like if I don't get up in the morning, I've triggered myself now. Like I said, the first time the alarm goes off or I beat the alarm, right? I don't stay in bed ever.
Right.
I mean, even on a weekend, it's hard for me. Like I can't do it. Like, cause I don't want to break that habit. All it takes is, 2 or 3 days of that, or think about missing your training regimen. It's easy when you have 1 day, 2 day becomes 3 day, becomes 4 day. And next thing you know, you're out of control with it. And so I think I'm scared of losing certain habits that I've created through that discipline, I guess. Because I didn't just come up one day and I'm going to get up and beat the alarm clock every day. No, I had to develop that.
Yeah.
Well, think about if you're going to develop this habit over the next 60 days, what's it going to take? And then after that, I agree with you. I think it just becomes innate nature.
Well, I
But
think
at some
that's
point,
why I want to do the 60 days, right? Is to try to create some lifestyle changes, because otherwise I think you go back to, right? I think part of it is like for me, like sugar cravings and stuff like that, right? Like getting that out so you're not like, you know what sounds good? Salty, sweet, whatever, like that kind of, because again, I think going back to your thing about willpower and emotion, right? Like the
Yep.
feeling of what you
feeling.
want.
Yeah.
Yeah, like some people are very, and I mean, I don't mean this disrespectfully, but Drew's sense of, and maybe it's never been that way, but his sense of food and what, like, I mean, if I had that sense of I can just eat taco meat out of a bowl and be satisfied, well, then the world would be great. But I am a foodie, and I don't, if it doesn't sound good, I don't want to eat it, even if I'm hungry. I mean, that's like, are you that way, Dee, or am I just a weirdo? Like, literally, if I want sushi and then someone's like, well, do you want that? Then they're like, well, you're not going to eat anything. No, it just doesn't sound good. I mean, how many times you get in a restaurant with me and you're like, what are you going to eat? Oh, no, nothing sounds good. So you're not going to eat? No, just, no, I'm good. I'll have a
Yeah,
chip.
no, food has been weird. It's taken me about a year to really be on board with the meal plan, and now I can just eat whatever. Like yesterday, what I had for lunch, I had like Italian sausages and peppers and onions, and I was like, okay, this is fine.
But that sounds good. That's not bad.
No, it's not bad. It's just, it is weird because I would like make elaborate, or even over the weekend, I was like, oh, I'll make some bread, even though I'm not going to eat it. Like I made homemade bread just because.
Okay, see that right there? I could not make homemade bread and smell it and not want to eat it. Why would you do that to yourself?
Because it's fun. I was like Little House on the Prairie over the weekend.
That'd be terrible. I would just be like, all right.
It was quarantined. We had to do something, right? Quarantined.
Yeah. Then I would like plant something or clean, or I don't know. I couldn't.
That's a great point. I worked with a lady who was an amazing, like she would bake cookies and cakes and everything. And she was a CrossFit athlete. I mean, like she would never eat it, but she loved baking, and she'd bring it to work, and it was like, dang it, like she's bringing in and like the best fudge you've ever seen, all this stuff. But you look at her, and she never once, it was never her thing. She just wanted to do it for other people and enjoyed baking. And I'm going, if that was in my house, oh my goodness.
See, and I want to say, okay, pusher.
Well, yeah.
Don't bake it and bring it to everyone else and then go eat it. And you eat it if it's so great. Otherwise, bring in a tray of vegetables and keep that crap to yourself.
That is 100% true, though, because that's why I did it. I made it for like my sisters and friends.
Yeah, to make them fat and be like, here, have some.
To make them fat.
I mean, I clearly don't say no.
I'm sure she's stirring the bowl going, I'm going to make them fat.
I say that to Chip. I swear to God, Chip does that to me all the time. He's like, Sarah, I made you this. I'm like, dude, I'm trying not to eat that. And he's like, a little bit, just eat a little bit. I'm like, I swear to God, you're trying to make me fat to make yourself feel better.
Oh, that asshole. He sent me.
See?
He sent me I should get the pillow. He sent me a dick pillow.
I saw it.
Yeah, we knew that was coming.
Like Oreos and these strawberry ice cream cone Hershey's. I was like, oh my God, I hate you so much. They're so good.
These right here?
Yes.
Yeah. And you know what I put it in? Do you see how cute that is? It's a pig bowl, so that I'm like, I'm not going to touch it, because every time I look at it, I go, I'm not going to eat something out of a pig, because then I'm a pig. He got me 2 packages of Oreos. And I'm like, Chip, for the love of God. And so I have them hiding in my freezer. The problem is I know they're in my freezer.
Right.
So that send me a crate of Oreos, and that thing would just sit in the garage and rot. I don't like Oreos.
But what if we sent you cookie dough ice cream?
I haven't had that. I know what you're saying. That would be depending upon the moment, right? I haven't had cookie dough ice cream in a long time, but yeah.
But just knowing it.
I have another one that I'm not going to tell you because you guys will send it to me, so I ain't going to say it. That one takes some discipline.
Peanut butter stuff?
And I know they're in my freezer too. And so every now and then I might have one or two.
It's not peanut butter stuff? Because I know you like peanut butter.
There is peanut butter in it, yes, but I ain't going to tell you.
See, look, why? We're not Chip. We're not going to set you up.
Oh, yeah, right. And Chip's probably watching. He'll probably send me a crate of them.
Right? Damn it, Chip. Yeah. But it is kind of an enabler, right? When you want to, like, the other thing too is I realized part of so I think it's like setting yourself up, right? Your environment. because I think you've got to like get rid of that stuff. Because I can eat chips like crazy, like potato chips, especially because, the bag is enormous, but it's air. And you open it up, and like I've learned, I cannot take the bag with me because I'll just like one after, especially Lay's, because they're so thin, and they like pop them once, and then they kind of just disintegrate in your mouth. Do you know what I'm talking about? You put it in, you go, and you put the pressure, and it like cracks it, and then it just disintegrates in your mouth, and then you're like, oh, I have another one, and another one, and another one. So then I'm like, half the bag is gone, and I'm like, holy cow, when did that happen? So then I learned to like take a handful and put it in a bowl and not take the bag with me.
Yeah.
But then, now I just don't even have any in the house, because if I have chips in the house, I will eat them. I'll just have a handful while I'm cooking dinner.
My weird thing is like carbs. So I'll have so even though I don't eat like junk food, like, candy, but if you put tortillas there or bagels there, like I am like, and those are hard for me, like really hard. And then
bagels aren't hard for me, but tortilla chips at a Mexican restaurant with salsa, and they just set it in front of you and you're hungry. Yeah. It's like I have to say, don't bring me chips and salsa. I don't want to see them.
Well, it's funny. I also have we went to the zoo last weekend, and I'm also kryptonite is pretzels, those thick, fresh baked pretzels.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
So I was like, I'm going to walk right past it. I walked past two, but they're on every damn corner at the zoo. So I'm like, all right, I'm getting it. One of those things.
So you made it for two, and then the third one, you're like,
we bypassed it. I'm like, no, I'm good. No, I'm good. And then I was like, all right, I'll go get it.
Yeah. And then what I find is I regret it. Do you guys regret it afterwards? Like I think about it, and I think I should make a different choice. And I'm like, it's fine. And then I don't know, I kind of regret it afterwards. And then I'm like, why did I do that? Because I just sabotaged myself for a freaking Oreo.
So here, I'll fully admit to this one. And this is like, I was shameful hiding myself in the movie theater. I got one of those fresh baked pretzels, and we were up at Flatirons, whatever, up there. And it's that, one of those awesome theaters you can lay back and actually drink in it and all of that. This was whenever the new Batman came out earlier this year. So my son and I ordered these things, and we walk away from the concession stand, and I'm going, how the hell did I pay $40 for two pretzels? Like, I'm like, this is getting out of control. Like the way the movie theater is, also that. Well, little did I know, they come out and it's a small pizza box. And it's a picture like a small pizza. So the guy's like, here's your pretzels. I'm like, I didn't order a pizza. He's like, no, these are pretzels. He's like, didn't you see the sign? I said, all I wanted was the pretzel. He goes, no, you got the jumbo thing. And it was seriously like a pizza in a box. So we're sitting in the theater, and I'm like telling my son, I'm like, I'm not going to eat all this. And it was 3 hours, because Batman is 3 hours, something long, right? And it was gone. I'm like, that was shameful.
That's me with popcorn.
All those carbs went down.
Because I'm like Chip, where I won't eat popcorn if it's just like, do you want a bite? No, because it gets in my teeth, and then I have a thing. So if I'm going to eat popcorn, I'm going to eat popcorn. Otherwise, I don't want it. But in a movie theater, man, I can fistful it in. It is so bad. It's the butter.
For me, it's the smell, I think, of not your popcorn, but the movie theater. Like you get in there and it's like, oh, it's stale popcorn. Like all that. So that kind of chased me away from the popcorn thing.
And the movie theater, you don't like the smell? Oh,
that's the best smell. That's my the drive-in.
Like the concession stand. I'm talking about like in the theater. When you walk in there and it's like, especially
the second I walk in, I'm like, oh, I feel like popcorn. I don't know, and I don't crave popcorn otherwise. Same thing when you walk out of Home Depot and they have those hot dogs.
The Depot dog.
I would never buy hot dogs and cook them at home. Like sausages, brats, like stuff like that. Yeah, but a hot dog, I would never eat a hot dog. But I go out of Home Depot, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, you know what I need is a giant, gross, like dirty baked hot dog from some street person.
I want to tell those guys, if you add the pretzel, you're going to get more people because then I go over there.
Because then you can take it and go. I don't know. But again, so that goes back to that whole thing of it is emotion, right? Because it's funny. I can sit and I'm not hungry at all. And then have you ever seen a commercial come on for like Red Robin?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden in your head, you're like, Red Robin, yum. And you're like, it sounds good.
Yeah.
Red Robin. Or because I think it's subliminal. Like, I don't think if you see it, if you smell it, if you are tempted by it, then, but that's hard. Do you live your whole life in a bubble? Like, you can't live your life like going, I don't ever want to see,
I think it was that movie, that Super Size Me. I think one where they dealt with McDonald's.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They were breaking down like how many times a hour we're inundated with food on, just TV and on, they just keep flashing it to your point,
Yep.
and why we're so culturally becoming obese in that arena is that it's just always in your face, and that you're, to your point, it's triggering what I need to go eat over and over and over
During
again.
COVID, did you guys notice when shutdown happened that if you were watching TV, like what was that song for? Was it Uber Eats or one of the deliveries? I can't get delivery where I live, so it didn't matter. But it's that song with the cartoons, and they have the little pudgy tummies, and it's just the music.
Pudgy tummies.
Yeah, they're little like cartoon figures, and they're like doo, 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 and the things, and that's you can order all the food, and I think it's like Uber Eats or one of them. I don't know. Anyway, that commercial was on freaking constantly.
I think the best thing for me was I got rid of cable, and I just have, paid for whatever it is. And so I don't get commercials. Like, I mean, that's probably the biggest thing for me too. Well, same with like shopping. I mean, think about that. Like they keep putting stuff in here. I got to have that, or social media. That's where we shop now. Like I have to watch myself because some new pops up on here. I'm like, I need that. So it's in your face,
I remember saying,
Amazon.
She goes, no, I can't buy it now. And I go, what do you mean you can't buy it now? And she goes, I have a thing. I put it in my cart, and at the end of the month, I hit buy. And I go, what's the difference whether you buy now or you buy at the end of the month? She goes, I don't know. I just feel more in control.
No, I buy stuff every day. I do that.
Yeah, I don't. Well, that does make a difference, though. Like when I'm going to do this 60-day, I'll get into series, and I'll find that I'll watch like stuff, but I'll do it on Netflix or I'll binge it because I don't want to watch TV. Yeah. Shopping is kind of like that for me, like clothes shopping and stuff. Because if I don't go to the mall or I don't see it, then I don't buy it, right? But if I go to the mall, then yes. Except right now, have you seen the clothes that are out right now for women? Men,
like Target.
You guys
Target,
are men.
Yeah, like Target has all these Little House on the Prairie dresses, like flower sacks.
Yeah, I went to Nordstrom's to buy a gift for somebody, and I was on the phone with Chip, and I happened to find 2 pairs of sunglasses. There's a shock. But that's not what I went for. And then I was like, well, I have like an extra 10 minutes. I'll just like run upstairs real quick and look at clothes. And I'm walking through and I'm like, oh my God, I am not tempted at all, because I am not Little House on the Prairie, and I am not wearing anything that looks like that.
What do you mean?
Body.
Sundresses?
They are not sundresses. They are like
sacks. Literally, they're just sacks with ruffles, and they're
sacks, and they're like plaid, and they're like there's elastic like thing, like it's not like a tube top. I don't even know what that is going to be. And then the big sleeves and the
it's kind of going back, isn't it? It's like a throwback to like
there's not
you're talking about ruffly. Like
kind of, but first there's no waist at all. It's just
right, just a thing. Yeah.
And then there's like lace around. I was like, who's gonna wear these things? It's terrible.
It's like little. I picture that as like little girls in the country dresses, like
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, only for like adults, and it's everywhere. Like it's just shirts are like that. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna save a lot of money until like fashion changes, because there is no way I'm buying that. And Target, I walked through Target the other day and I was like, is this a joke? Are they like trying to get rid of, is this because of COVID? We don't have enough seamstresses, so we just went back to grandmas, and that's what.
I don't know.
I mean, I was like, who decided that that's okay? It's terrible. Plus, I think too, I don't know about UD and maybe Drew, it's different, but when you're trying to like, because I mean, one of the big focuses for our 60 days obviously is, for me, is losing weight and eating better and working out. I tend to kind of like, I think I want to hide in clothes when I'm not in the, in the best shape. I'm like, oh, I'll wear baggy sweatshirts.
Oh yeah.
It'll be fine. And then I feel like when I work out, I force myself not to, because then I want to like walk by a mirror and be like, oh, why does my ass look like that?
Well, I think this has come up before, and I apologize for using the reference, but he's one of my favorite, is Arnold. Arnold talked about when he was preparing, like, back in the 70s, he had small calves. And so his whole thing was, I'm wearing shorts everywhere I go, and I want people to make fun of me, right? I want people to say I'm not proportionate. I want people, rather than hiding in pants and having to deal with it, that's the way he triggered it. So to your point, if you're more showing stuff, you might be, more committed to yourself. I always think about this in my head. I don't know if you guys do this either. We're in Colorado, so we have the ability to flow through clothing like we want to. Then I look at my friends in California or Florida. I'm going, if I had year-round beach and sun, I might be in a whole different perspective on my visual too. If I'm going to be out and surfing every day, or I'm going to be in the sand, I think for me, I would have a different perspective with that.
I think if you were surfing every day, yeah, because I mean, just physically what you're doing every day, that would be, but there are a bunch of obese people in Florida.
I'm not saying there's not. I'm just saying for me,
So
in my head, that's where I play the game in my head. I'm like, oh, we're getting close to winter, like November, December. I'll be okay. I'll wear sweatshirts and jeans and whatever. But
I don't think I intentionally do. I think it just is like, you just kind of go, I'll just take my foot off the gas for a couple weeks. And then next thing you know, it's like 4 months later and you're like, oh my God, how did we get to March?
That's what I mean. What you guys are laughing about, it's bikini season. Like it's January. It's going to be here before we know it, because I let myself go. I do. It's my weakness is the end of the year thing. Oh, yeah. There's just too much stuff going on, holidays and whatever. And then
it's always around my birthday. I always work really hard until my birthday. And then my birthday comes and then I go, I'll just take a little bit of time off. And then I swear every March, I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
That was a long time off. And how did I do that much damage in that short amount of time?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I do blame COVID. But I didn't realize, because when we kind of shut down, I didn't have to go out and about as much in leggings and hoodies. And the next thing you know, it's like 3 years later. I'm like, damn, I'm still wearing the hoodie.
I was so good when it first came because I was like, all right, I'm not, because I was driving all the time. We didn't work from home then.
Right.
Like now. I mean, our company didn't. We were out in the field every single day. I got up and left every single morning. And so then when COVID shut down, I was like, well, I have like an extra hour every day that I'm not driving somewhere. Yeah. And so down to the gym. I mean, we got like the gym set up. I went down to the gym every day. Yeah. I was like outside all the time on my Zooms. And I like literally moved my desk outside because I'm like, screw it. If I'm home and I'm stuck here, because I'm a little claustrophobic, even like that. So I was like, I got to be outside. I can't just sit in my office all the time. And I even did my workouts on the deck in the mornings.
Yeah.
That were not like the, the cardio stuff. And I got into really good shape. And then it was the second year, I feel like, or the time, then I was like, okay, now I'm just done.
Yeah. I was working too, but I think what got me was the minute we figured out you could get like alcohol delivered. It was like now you got, because you could get it with your groceries or whatever, all that stuff. Then it was like, shit. I mean, there was one point I had our fridge, this is shameful, but I had bought because I figured let's overstock because stuff's going to get out. Right. So we overloaded on everything, including alcohol. And I had just a beer fridge. Like it was just like every shelf was full of beer. And then you get through I don't know how many months we were into COVID. I'm like, how did I go through 2 shelves already? And like I have drawers left. And I'm like, holy cow. And it just was like to your point, I made my purpose, got outside, did my stuff. And then it was the easy evening ice cream was the beer. Like I'd just sit there and I'd have 2 or 3 beers a night. No, that's not me normally, but it started to catch on really quick. And for me, it kind of triggered
hour almost every night. It was like, oh, I'll just make a little margarita and sit on the deck. And because you felt trapped. I mean, I know it sounds dumb, but psychologically
it was coping.
You felt like you couldn't go have a beer. You couldn't go out. So you were like, I'm going to do everything at home. And
my neighborhood's so funny because I mean, you've seen it. We're so close to each other and we have like the little 3-foot fences, whatever. It turned into happy hour out back. Like when you're not allowed to be outside, it was like, no, hell no. All the neighbors are out and we're hanging out and talking. And that was kind of the cool part, but it showed me like how, and I know alcoholism is easy to get caught up in sometimes, but it showed me how you can grow that, like all of a sudden from 1 to 2 to it's going to keep going and your tolerance gets more and people just get caught up in that cycle. You can totally see it.
Oh yeah.
And we had to have a conversation with like, wait, hang on a second. Now we're getting to the point where it's weird not to drink. No, we're going to, so we had to fight through that in COVID. It was hard, but to your point, coping was just different for people.
Yeah. But I mean, what's the difference between making like, I don't know, lavender lemonade or something and sitting out there and, having something that's different that isn't, I mean, I think it's just it's the idea, right. Of like, oh, we're going to just, go sit and put our feet up and whatever. But again, I think it's the habit that becomes the issue.
Yeah.
And I think it's your mindset too, though. I mean, for me, again, my mind is like, if I really want to do something, the most heinous things are like fine,
Hmm.
right? Like, I mean, HCG is not an easy, is not an easy thing. And, dried chicken after like the, 20th day, you're just like, for me, because it's my personality, I'm like, I just don't want to eat. I just don't care. I just don't want, it's like eating. And I have to force myself through that. But if I want to do it, it's not hard at all. It's just when I don't want to do it that becomes the problem. And your mind is so powerful, your body will follow.
Yep.
But we go with our body more than our mind, right?
Mm.
Or our emotions.
Mind.
Maybe
Yeah,
not
I'd say.
body, but our emotions, not our, because how you feel affects how you think,
Right.
and
I'm
how you
with you.
affects how you feel. I mean, it can vice versa, but
I have a really hard time with chicken breast. I've ate it for so many years that it's like, oh no, I have to find a different way to trick it and hide it and make it because it's just, ugh.
Well, and that's why when you guys talk about like meal prep and if it's just chicken breast, I cannot cook chicken breast on Sunday and eat that by Saturday. It is dry and chewy and
Yep.
no, thank you. I literally will just stop eating.
That's where I found the ground chicken though. That's where it's different. You can grind. That's totally different. But I'm the same way because we used to just make pans of the breast, right? And then you have it, and then yeah, like you said by Thursday, it's like,
Oh.
all right, here we go again.
And it's dry and you're trying not to put any like sugar or sauces or any like season. Like, oh my God. Like I just, ugh. Then
That's
I just
for me when you talk about
open a can of tuna and just eat the tuna out of a can.
right. That's for me when you talk about like even this sustainability. I think is a big piece of that. So when you look at for me, what's realistic? Like so, then was prep and it was for 16 weeks or 12 weeks and it was intentional, right? But you look at how sustainable it is for your whole year, or I mean, that's where it's like no way. I mean that you have to be realistic with those things.
Yeah.
But there are some people that just stay on that for ever, which is crazy to me.
My roommate can do that. Just chicken and rice and broccoli, he's fine, but I can't. Like the chicken, I have to smoke it, or turkey. If I smoke it, if you smoke anything, I'll eat it, but otherwise, it's a struggle.
Yeah.
I can I think you can have mustard on this thing, and so I can do, but mustard.
They get created. Can you have ketchup? I did that. Ketchup and mustard and
You
berry
can have
sugar.
mustard, you cannot
Because of sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's too much sugar in ketchup. You can't do it. So you can have mustard. Okay.
After a while, mustard starts tasting fantastic.
I just want it in a pill. Honestly,
Yeah, you want the easy answer.
I want protein pills where I can just take.
There is protein pills. I told you that.
Yeah, but they don't have the same nutritional thing that like eating actual food does.
Well, nothing does, right? Yeah, that's why it's a supplement.
It's the extra. Yeah, I just want one where like I could just take it and be like, okay, I just had lunch. I'm good.
You want the Wonka pill.
Yes, I want the Wonka pill. Yeah, it's whatever that is in. Just do that. But I don't know. So I think part of it is, I don't know. It's all combined, right? And then I think your influences make a big difference. Talking about damn it, Chip and whoever Drew's pusher was with the sugar. Like I think that's the other thing too. You need to surround yourself with people that aren't going to tempt you while you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That are going to help you stick to it instead of be like, it's all right. Just it's just one. It's just just one burger. It's not going to kill you.
Yeah, it's so so true. If you have, well, especially if you're in a family setting or you're married, right, you have to have common goals or common objectives. I think if one is, you have to be really disciplined. If you're eating your whole household eats a different way than you do because it's a burdensome, right? It's like, oh, come on, like we don't eat the same. That's a hard thing to do.
Well, I think it's just you have to be self-reliant. Like, I mean, that's what I noticed too, is like if you have holidays or you go to someone, to their house for dinner, I never want to put someone out based upon my dietary restriction. And so I think it's just like, hey, I brought my own stuff and I'm fine. I'll sit and eat with you. Don't take offense. This is a me thing. It's not forever, but
That's the hard thing.
I brought my own stuff and it's fine, but it is hard. Like when you go out to eat with someone and, you're like eating cheese and a bunch of crap and they're like, I'll just have some lettuce. And I think you feel bad. I don't know why we feel bad because no one should feel bad if I'm eating a certain way and they're not. But I know I feel bad. Like when Drew's like, I'll just have dry turkey and
Good.
could I just have one little piece of lettuce? And I'm like, Dee and I are like, we're 2 margaritas. And he's like, I'll just have water. Can I have a cracker?
Yeah, but you guys know the difference is that you're supportive of that, where there's others that.
Nope.
Are we?
I think I froze or Drew froze. I think Drew froze. I can see you. Okay. I was like, wait, did I freeze? I thought you froze too. I was like, hold on. There he's back now. You froze for a minute.
I know I sent a text to you guys. It was just, is it me or you guys?
You said we're supportive, but there are other.
Yeah, I think it's different between your understanding and support of that versus being with people that just aren't, right? It's just there's constant like hazing, a little bit like, what are you doing? You need to do that or whatever, right? Just respecting each other's choices. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah. Well, when it was funny, we were in Delta and we ordered lunch in one of our meetings and Julie was going to go get it. And so I just said, do you want me to order for you? And Drew's like, yeah, that's fine. And so I wrote down all this stuff and Julie comes back and she goes, he doesn't want a bun. And I go, no. And then she comes back and he goes, he doesn't want any lettuce or tomato or lettuce. No, I said lettuce only. And she goes, he doesn't want any tomato or onions or ketchup or mustard or mayo or anything. And I go, no. And then I said, instead of fries, just a salad. And I said, lettuce only. And they put cheese on it, but no dressing. She comes back. He doesn't want any croutons or tomatoes. No, no dressing. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, restaurants hate me. What was it? What's the one we eat at? Where the tacos and that guy, remember that day? He was like, what are you doing?
Was that Lostos?
Is that the one down by I-25?
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember that first day and the guy was like, what do you, I said,
no, that was Hacienda, I-25 and like Lincoln.
Yeah. I just want the meat and the cheese. Yeah. He's like, what? Like it was
yeah,
this
he goes, I want these tacos, but I just want the meat and the cheese. And the guy's like, well, okay, so wait, what? Which I sometimes don't understand why you don't order like just a big piece of steak or something or meat. Is it because it's too fatty?
No, I just want the taco and I just want that amount of, remember I told you I'm very picky and specific how much I order. I don't want you to share my food, that thing, you know what I mean? So when I see it, I want that thing, right? So that's the.
Why don't you just order like a big steak and then a side of like lettuce and tortillas, and then you can.
Well, in that case, because I wanted the actual taco shell, I wanted to see what that was, and so that's actually not a healthy shell. I just
feel bad because he gets like this little tiny amount of meat, and it's like they're these tiny little portions, and then the rest of us are like eating like.
Yeah, but remember,
steaks.
I also eat more, so I've already eaten. Like that day, I already ate an hour before we were going, so I only needed a certain amount of food.
Yeah, but yeah, the waiter was like so confused. He's like,
he was lost. Yeah, it was funny. I'm
so,
like,
so you just want like a dry tortilla with some meat in it and some lettuce on the top, and he's like, yeah, okay. And then he kind of just like walks away, and yeah.
But it's the same thing. Like when you go in and like you ordered the other day, I just want the meat, right? I just want the chicken.
Yeah,
they look at you like
Tapatio, and I was like, can I just have a big piece of meat? And the guy's like, okay. And then what else? And I'm like, a big piece of meat. And he's like, so you don't want the rice and beans? No. You don't want tortilla? No. How about the veggies? Throw those in there. And then it was like all cauliflower. What Mexican restaurant serves cauliflower?
Yeah, it's interesting.
There's a lot of cauliflower.
I think it's becoming more commonplace though. I think about like, cause even like In-N-Out, you can get, what is it, Monster or something where it's, it's the double the meat, but it's a lettuce wrap, instead of the burger.
I've never been to In-N-Out yet.
Oh, it's good.
And now it's going to be a while. So, but I've never, I don't do a lot of fast food.
That's different though. That's fresh cooked. That's what the big rave is that meat's never frozen, fresh made. And then it's different.
I don't know that I care about Chick-fil-A can tempt me because those stupid fries and that chicken sandwich is no pickles is the bomb.
No pickles. You got to do a pickle on that.
No, I don't like pickles on chickens. I like pickles. I don't want them on my sandwich though. Burgers I'm fine with. I don't want them on chicken. And then it soaks into the bun. Then you have like a pickle soaked bun. I don't like that. They need to shake them off before they put them on the. But I love their fries but like McDonald's, I'm not tempted to go to McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's or any of those places at all.
I need another. I just said the name of that show.
Taco Bell once in a while. which is weird because their food is crap. But once in a while, I don't know why Taco Bell sounds tempting.
You know, COVID last week, I couldn't taste or smell, but that's what I wanted, Taco Bell.
There you
What
go.
did you want from Taco Bell?
I wanted the cheesy bean and rice burrito. Very simple.
I liked their Mexican pizzas that they don't have anymore.
They do. They brought them back.
Oh, well,
Yes.
yeah, not now, but yeah, but I don't know what it is about Taco Bell. Have you ever gotten in a car after someone ordered Taco Bell, and then they pick you up? Like they're like, I'll swing and get Taco Bell, and I'll pick you up, and you get in the car. It smells exactly like dirty feet. It's the weirdest thing. But when you're in the car and you get it, you don't smell it that way. But it stinks when you get in and it's there. But
I love Taco Bell too. I have to drive past that.
Chick-fil-A that's the one that will get me because I don't know why. And they're so polite.
Their
my
nuggets
God,
are awesome.
the nicest people. They're just smiley and friendly, and they're like so nice. You just kind of want to give them your money because they're just so sweet.
And they're fast. No matter how long the line is, you're like, I'm good because they're fast. They'll get through it.
We need to hire whoever is the Chick-fil-A trainer or designer of how that workflow happens to like work in airports and
Yes.
the COVID lines. Remember back in the day, like they should just design everything because they are amazing at what they do. That training program is phenomenal, but I don't know. So Dee, what are you going to do different getting ready for 60 day? Because that's Monday and today is Friday. We have 2 days to get the mindset ready to go.
Am I signing up for this?
I thought you were doing something.
No, I'll do it with you.
Maybe. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I won't do the HCG, but yeah, I'll do it with you.
I just think it's a good like if everyone's doing it, it's like, what do you want to do for 60 days? Do you want to cut down on something? Do you want to increase something? You know, work on sleep. The way my eyes look today, I need sleep. I'm not sleeping good. You can tell from being sick. I'm like, my eyes are like this big open.
I need to get back to the 2 a day because
2 a day workouts.
Yeah, so like a walk and then lifting.
Okay. So what are you going to do to prep for it? Different.
Get up earlier.
Like,
She's
well,
like,
first
"Get
of all,
up
probably
earlier."
an attitude adjustment would be appropriate because that didn't sound very positive at all. Oh,
Yeah, I just need to get out of bed.
I'm going to start going to bed at like 7. You guys watch. Like I will. First week I'll be fine. Maybe second week, and then all of a sudden you'll like text me and be like, "She just gave up for the day and went to bed." Because I do know that that's me. Like I need to just go to bed and start over, and then I'm fine in the morning again. But as the day goes on, like I got to figure out how to pace that. I don't know.
More breaks.
No, I think it's just I get more like again, I don't know. I think I just might like again that willpower or that discipline as the day goes on gets less and less and less.
But I think it's because we're nonstop. You know what I mean?
It's also because people piss me off. Stop pissing me off, and then I'll be
I'm sorry.
then I'll be able to maintain the whole time. But stop being a jerk so that I have to react. No. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe that walk thing would be good, like in the evening too. That would help because maybe that, you know, when you get in that kind of fidgety, antsy kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Staying
really
up
have no
helps.
excuse now.
I can distract myself with movies. I'm really good at that. With movies, I can sit and watch movie after movie after. I can't watch TV like that, but I can watch movies like that. So I can distract myself with that a little bit. But then that's probably not overly healthy that I'm just going to,
You're stationary.
yeah, tunnel vision myself and just.
Telling you, I get my books online. That's where I go and I listen and walk or do whatever I'm going to do.
Oh yeah,
That's-
audiobooks are a lifesaver.
I can't do that. I stopped listening. Haven't you guys noticed I stopped listening and just in general in life? And I'm like, I'm sorry, what were you saying again?
I do too, but it's distracting. It's distracting from what I'm doing. So like if to your point, like it's going to go drive me nuts to go walk for 3 miles or whatever like that, but I at least have something playing and moving in the background.
Oh, see, I like music then. I can do music. And when I'm downstairs in the gym, I'll put on TV shows or movies and then just say, I'm going to walk until the movie's done, or I'm going to walk until, you know, the 30, whatever. I mean, I can do that. Okay.
Right.
It is more the discipline to the weights. Because I'll go down and I'll get on the treadmill and then I'll be like, oh, I'll do the rest.
No, you got to do it.
And I need to be the discipline to the weight part.
Mm-hmm.
because the whole like you have to do it and then you have to
Burn
rest,
more.
and then you have to do it and then you have to rest, and I'm like,
You're doing it wrong.
I thought you're supposed to rest in between your sets for like
Depending
5
on what you're doing.
Well, I
You
kinda
need more of a hit workout is what you need.
I get antsy. I need more.
Yes, you need more of a hit workout where you have less downtime.
I hate hit. I do hit on Saturdays and I hate it every time.
Why?
Just
I
high
don't like-
intensity. You get
Yeah, I
less
don't like
rep.
cardio. I like to lift.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't mind the hit on the cart on the treadmill though.
It's the same with weights though.
Oh, I've never done that with weights. I don't think I've only done it on the treadmill with cardio, and that wasn't bad because it's not like you're running for 4 miles straight. You know, you run and then you like hop on the sides, and then you run and then you hop on the sides, and
Mhm.
that's not bad.
We just changed up our program for 6 weeks, so now we have an AMRAP or a Metcon at the end of
Mhm.
every session. I hate it.
A what at the end?
Like an AMRAP or like a Metcon. It's just like higher intensity.
Yeah, many rounds as possible. Yeah, many reps as possible, many rounds as possible. Those
Yeah.
kind of things. Yeah.
See, that's the other part too. I don't want to know all that. I just want someone to tell me to do that. I don't want to be like, I don't want to learn a whole new thing.
I've got you. I'll just send you the workouts.
That's what I need because I'll research bunnies or turkeys and I can tell you everything about them and where they generated from. And in 1900, it was a standard. I mean, that's fine. Gardening, same thing. Shoes, but for some reason, physical
Sunglasses.
exercise, it's just so like, ugh, I don't know. Boring.
Takes discipline.
No, that's just not. It's just not. Sports, fine. Go play sports. I like playing sports. I don't want to learn about them. I don't want to like break it down, and that's not fun. I don't know. It's not my mindset, but I'm glad you guys like it.
I didn't though. That's the funny thing. Is like I didn't appreciate it when I was much younger.
Right?
I did it because I looked at it. Like I said, you don't use the word thing in your head, but that was for me. Like back then, it was because I had to. You know, it was I had to for a sport or I had to for whatever. It wasn't for me. It was because you better do this or you can't compete.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you get older, what happens when competition goes away, right? And then it had to become about me. And that was the hard challenge, was seeing the importance, seeing the value. Obviously being in a job that could have killed me every day, I had to be in some kind of perspective, right? But that still was a challenge all through all those years, was because it's about me. It wasn't about,
Mm-hmm.
the team or whatever. And so that's where I think it
There's
cost
like
me
get to though, right? Too physically, like I mean, because of what we do for a living and what you've seen, right? Like physically, we get to work out because we can. You know, we have legs that move and we don't have disabilities, and so
Sure.
I think you can put it in that perspective of gratitude that you
Yeah,
have.
at least you
My
have the
biggest
ability.
fear is, to have a body that doesn't move. That I see people who are in their 40s and they're like, oh, I can't do all those stairs, and I'm like, oh, that's not going to be. I don't want to be that.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to not be able to lift something, or I mean, like respectfully, my mom, bless her heart, she like carries her purse and my dad carries everything else. And I think it's because she can't. Like, I think it's just she doesn't have, and she's super skinny. I mean, she's like 120 something pounds. She's just little, but she doesn't have any muscle tone. So I go to lift something and she's like, oh, don't. That's going to hurt. No, I need to because I don't want to. Like with where I live and stuff, and I lift 50-pound bags of like feed. I don't want to ask someone to help me. I want to be able to do it myself for as long as I can.
What I like sometimes, and I'll do those comparatives. I'm not saying you have to be like, the Olympian or whatever, but when you look at the 60-year-old versus the 60-year-old or 50, 50, 40, 40, and just seeing who took care of themselves, who didn't take care of themselves, that's always in my mind too.
Yep.
Then I was always amazed by the older guys that I worked out with or that I was on teams with that were double my age that could kick my ass. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I mean, you're trying to, like, especially when I was younger and I was in my 20s and I had the 40-year-olds that would run circles around me. I was like, wait a minute, that should not happen. How does that work in? And so that's kind of where my mindset too. I don't want to be the sloppy 40-year-old. I want to be the one that's, been in shape. And then especially as I get older, I don't want to use age as an excuse that I need to stop doing what I need to be doing.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to be in a Victoria's swimsuit catalog magazine, or I'm not going to be in a, like a bodybuilding competition.
Don't have to be. Yeah.
I think it's being in your best
Yep.
or at least in good physical condition, that you feel good and that you feel healthy. And
Yep.
right. I mean, I think that's what it's about. And I mean, everyone has that. It's on a spectrum, right? So where
Yep.
you want that and where you see it, right?
Yep.
I also find it funny, and I guess this can be a topic for Monday. I also find it funny, though, that some people want to talk you into or out of what you want to do for how you want to see yourself
Mm-hmm.
physically, right? Like, oh, no, you don't lose any weight because you'll be too skinny, or no, if anyone is more than, if you have a curve, you're fat, or like, I think it's whatever they see, and then we see ourselves so differently that those never line up.
I love my mom. My mom was funny.
Opinion.
My mom was that way. When I was competing, my mom was that way. She was like, "You're getting too skinny and frail." And I'm like, wait a minute. Like, it's all muscle structure and I'm proud of what I just did. No, you're too skinny. Okay. And it was just mom being mom. She didn't want me to go a different direction. But to your
My
point,
mom's
there are
having
some.
a stroke because she's like, oh, now you're not going to eat.
Yeah.
I'll be fine. I'll eat. It'll be fine. Oh, yeah. So now I get the text every day. Did you eat? Yes. Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm 51. I'll figure it out. I'm fine.
I was teasing her. I'm like, look at The Rock, right? I mean, the guy is, pristine, and he eats more than anybody that you'll ever be around, right? I mean, that guy just, but it's that imagery of like, she was like, you're getting too, I'm like, whatever, because it wasn't like, well, what's funny is that wasn't important, or less important, I think, for maybe that generation than it is. Like, fitness was not unless you were doing certain things.
Do you remember ever hearing about fitness before, like with the 70s when they came out with like aerobic stuff?
Yeah.
And it was for women. Unless you were like a muscle builder, there were no, we didn't work out. Yeah. But we also lived a different life. I mean, that's a whole nother topic, but we were much more physically active than we are today.
What's funny is I remember in high school when EAS first came out and they had creatine, and it was like, like people were like, you can't take creatine and you can't whatever. It was like this whole thing. It was like, and now it's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, Chip and I were talking about that because he was talking with someone about fen.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Old school, whatever. And he was like, yeah, like he goes, that was amazing. He was on it. I've never taken it. He goes, but it was like a whole thing about you had to like watch your heart because it like screwed especially with women's heart. Like it was so dangerous. And there were all these, like, I just,
we had this drink, and it was called Ultimate Orange, and it was seriously like cocaine. It was just, that's what it was, because it was all the amphetamine stuff, right? They didn't control the amphetamines early on, and so I mean, you just have a scoop of it, and it was, and they had to come out and go, well, it's going to harm you, eventually.
People are dropping over. They're like, maybe.
It literally was on the shelf at GNC. You could get this, and it was just all the amphetamine based stuff, and then I think
those were the days, though. God, I miss having energy.
Right.
I miss having energy. I miss being fun.
But it was so taboo back then, and now you look at their supplements everywhere that everybody does, and but yeah.
Yeah, and I'm never taking the right ones. I always figure too, because someone always tells me, "Oh, you shouldn't take that. You should take." I have no idea anymore. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, now my body's so picky. I can't even take pre-workout if I don't eat like a banana or something. My body's like rejects it. I'm like, damn it.
If you don't eat a banana?
Well, if I don't eat a little bit before my pre-workout now, I like want to throw up.
Oh, because you have nothing in your system.
Yeah.
Yeah, now we're going to see Dee eating her banana on camera too, just like we see Drew eat his banana on camera.
That's right. I forgot my banana this morning.
Yeah.
I can actually eat it on this show. You guys won't care.
Well, we care. We'll just be able to say something instead of have to do one of these when we eat banana on camera. So, well, on that note, we hope you have a great weekend, and we will see you Monday, same place, same time.